You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ronnie.
Might not be morning for people listening, but I think a lot of people listen in the morning on their commutes. If you're listening in your car, don't get in an accident, please.
Why would they get in an accident?
I don't know. They might be so
intrigued and laughing.
distracted and enjoying our voices that they swerve. You ever have those intrusive thoughts to swerve into another car?
When a person's a dick, I wish I had a.
That's not what I mean, but that's
No. I mean, just out of the blue swerve.
I just mean like you're driving and you're like, wow, if I jerk my wheel to the right, I'll kill like 7 people.
Never in a billion years. But some people are like asshole drivers. Like if I wish I had a shit car and wouldn't get in trouble, I'd fucking clip them, knock them off the road.
Yeah. Oh.
What?
This is creating a ring.
Yeah. So all right, hold on.
Wow, that was 1 second. What the hell?
It's because the marble. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah,
And
I'm
vamp.
gonna. Yeah, vamp. Vav is put my vaginal juices
I
on
want
my
you
body.
to put your vaginal, then I want you to vamp.
I mean, it's a normal thing, intrusive thoughts, but I will have them, like, not often, but more often than I'd like to, honestly, where I'll be driving and I'll literally just be like, wow, I have so much power right now. If I jerk this wheel, not jerk it off, if I, like, jerk it to the right, I can, like, literally take people's lives in a second. And then I just think that, and then I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then I keep driving. Or sometimes, yeah, I mean, I'll definitely think that. Other times I will think what you think, where there's someone that's driving so poorly.
I want to fucking ram them.
Or they're so annoying, and I'm like, it would be great to just crash their car.
Not someone who's just a slow, old liberal in like those Hyundais or the Honda Civics.
From like 2003.
Right. It's always the liberal people driving that are
Why is that? Why are liberals bad drivers?
And it's always the cars worth like $3,000 or less that they're in.
Yeah. But why would liberals be bad drivers and conservatives be good
why
drivers?
the fuck are you in the HOV lane? It's a single fucking lane. You can't go.
Well, they're usually oblivious.
They're oblivious. That's my point. I want to fucking ram those people. I hate saying that, but like move the fuck. And then when you pass them and you see in your rearview mirror, everyone's passing them and they still are oblivious that they're still in the fucking
Well, they're just
lane.
oblivious people. That's why they're liberals. Hey.
Oh my God.
Sometimes when people do like a horrible park job, not like bad where they're like just oblivious or they don't know how to drive, bad where they're like a douchebag where they like purposely take 2 spots or something.
Yeah, I want to fucking.
I'm like, oh, I would love to have a car where I could just like push their car out of the way with my car.
What you can do is for where it's not damaging property, because I don't believe in damaging property. But when someone's a douchebag like that, you let the air out of the tires. It's just an inconvenience. You're not damaging property.
Extreme inconvenience.
Yeah, you're not cutting. I don't believe in harming someone else's property.
No, because now you're like
you're an asshole.
bad.
You're a vandal, right? You don't cut their slash tires, but if you let the air out of the tires, I think that's pretty cool. Like,
how would you fix that though? Like if all my tires are out of air in a parking lot, how do I get to fill them up with air?
Call someone to come.
But that sucks.
Yes, but my point. But you're not damaging anything.
Yeah, you're severely inconvenienced.
Well, if that person thinks they're better and they'll know
the car's still parked.
But he hasn't taken the sign off, which means he hasn't left.
No, but another car's there, Dad. So he had to move his car.
You're right, another car's there.
So
he didn't see it.
He had to have. Another
Who
car's
leaves it
there.
on there?
I don't know. So there's a car next to, we're in Dad's Miami apartment, and so they park in a garage.
So you tell me the air is coming out of tires next stage?
And
next time it come down in 2 weeks, if it does the same thing, the air is coming out of tires.
The car next to, so it's like they're tandem double spots, and the spot next to Dad's spot, yesterday, it was just a little Volkswagen Golf.
I'm not taking
that was parked like halfway into the driveway where people like it was parked not even in their spot. It was pretty much in the drive-through.
Yeah, where you drive your car to go in and out. Like that makes no sense because he had 12 feet in front of him.
So that was freaking out, and he left a note.
I wasn't freaking out.
You were freaking out here, but you didn't freak out in the note. I thought you were going to make a way worse note.
Because what's the point?
So you wrote a note on the car. You were like, you can't park like
this. Pull your car up and don't in its spot.
But there was
if not it will be towed.
They were in the first of the furthest of the 2 tandem spots. But today when I pulled in, there was a car in the deeper tandem spot. So that means they had to pull their car out. Another car pulled in, and then they pulled back. So they were in their car, and they still parked like that.
I'm going to tell the front desk and tell them they need to correct it.
All right, Darren.
No, I'm going to do that.
Darren.
Fuck that. That doesn't annoy you?
No, it definitely does.
Okay, well, there you go.
I want to move their car. We could pick that car up, I feel like, if we really wanted to. It's really light, I think.
The person's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite douchebag. I can't stand people like that. I really can't. You no matter what the fuck. When you're driving that left fucking lane or the HOV lane and it's single and you're going 55 miles an hour.
So this is
all right, I'm getting aggravated.
This is big growth on me because a year ago, we've talked about this on the pod too. Like a year ago, I was a very aggressive driver, and if someone was driving slowly or like poorly or whatever, I would like I would never like ride someone's ass, but I'm like honking, I'm flashing.
You had a lot of hostility
to get out of the way and all this shit. And then we had that whole conversation with Bryce on the podcast, and Bryce was like, "I've been in the car with Bronson, and he's so aggressive driver." And you guys were like, "It's not safe."
It's not safe.
I don't do that anymore.
Good for you.
Because I've realized, I've thought like,
it's not worth it.
No, like someone could easily just stop,
right, or
pull out a gun and shoot me.
Easily. So what's the point?
So but I literally don't do it anymore.
I'm proud of you.
I'll just, if someone's slow and I'm stuck in the HOV lane with them, I just ride it out until I can get around. Or not, I just will get out of the way. I'm not flashing. I'm not honking anymore. That's growth. And I'm like across the board with that. Like it's not, I've made a conscious effort to not do that anymore.
But everyone will agree with me that the people that drive slow are the liberals in the shit little cars, and sometimes will even have a mask when they're alone in the car.
Or down here, you do get a lot of just old people. So I've
not the old people.
that
no,
too.
Old people different. 100%. I defer, and I'm always respectful to the elderly.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll be annoyed, and I'm like, "Oh, this guy's driving so slow," and then I'll get around them, and it's like a 90-year-old man, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I feel bad."
But it's usually not. It's usually a woman that is fat and has 12 cats at home.
Yeah. Well, then maybe she has toxoplasmosis, and then she's actually crazy.
You're into that, no. But I had.
We were talking about that last night.
We had a. I wasn't. You were. I was listening.
Okay, so you heard.
I had a case like that a woman had. She lived in a condo. She had there was a leak, and she had like no lie, like
a toxoplasmosis case.
She had like 10 cats, literally like 10 cats, and she had all these. She's claiming there was molds from the water tower leak in the condo, and she claims that she had the toxicities in her body were the mold related. And we had experts, whatever, and things like that related to the cats and the feces and everything. So yeah, it's a whole issue. But let's move on.
Just quickly, I'll just say what it is for those who don't know, because I feel like, what the, there's that whole
crazy
idea of
lady.
like crazy cat ladies, but it's actually a real thing. Cats in their poop, there's like a bacteria that gets in their poop, and if humans like breathe it in, it literally makes them crazy. Like it
would make a woman crazier, because
or maybe all women have toxoplasmosis.
It never happens to men, you know that, right? Because men will not have that many cats.
Apparently, Mom was saying like they found out that almost half of the country of France like has toxoplasmosis. That's why they're all annoying as hell.
No, wait. So
wow, we are just offending so many people in this episode already.
So first of all, you never hear crazy cat man, because men are not getting more than one cat usually,
or even one cat.
Well, some men do. Like a good buddy of mine has 2 cats, and it's still questionable, but he's a good guy.
A good cat is a good pet. I'll say that.
Wait, but now imagine a woman being crazier. Like the minute we used to have a cat for 20 plus years, and we had it. And
he was a good cat. Like he was a good pet.
Yeah, I'm still not a cat lover. I never have been.
But like as a pet, he was chill. He was there for you when you wanted him. Then he didn't bother you.
Didn't climb on furniture. Whatever.
He was just like easy.
Are we talking about a spouse? Or are we talking about a cat?
He was a homie. He was just chill.
So we got the cat, and of course we have the cat, and like literally, like I'm like, all right, now I'm not changing the fucking cat litter. I'm not doing the fucking. She goes, all right, I'll do the cat litter. I go, I'm not doing the fucking cat litter.
But
a week later, she gets pregnant, and you can't touch cat litter when you're pregnant
because of toxoplasmosis.
Yeah, so I think Mom purposely.
She knew she was pregnant, and she delayed it.
If Mickey lived longer, we would have a 4th child. Because she only got pregnant. She never wanted any of you kids. She only got pregnant because she wanted to.
She just came out of her room with her hands on her hips.
Look at it.
I never wanted the kids.
Oh my, yes. And I'm telling you right now, so literally,
Mom's gonna send us an email.
I will
about how we offended her.
I will never get another cat because I don't.
Mom said she's extremely offended with her hands on her hips.
I want you to know, duly noted. Now go back and where you belong, woman. I'm only teasing you.
Mom knew she was pregnant, and she waited to tell you a week because she wanted to get a cat.
First of all, everyone knows that you only wanted 2, not 3 kids, so that's true. But I want to say this though.
It was me and Burke that you wanted.
But honestly, am I telling the truth that the kitty litter thing, every fucking day I had to change. I hated doing the kitty litter. I did it for 21 fucking years.
But now they have those machines where it
I
does
just
it
want you
for
to know, the cat lived to be for 20 years, but I changed it for 21 years. I just want you to know that.
And the cat really died.
I mean, honestly, it seemed like he was like a zombie. That
Well,
cat
that-
lived longer than any animal, any
That
living thing
cat
I've ever
rotted
experienced.
from the inside out.
Yeah.
Like my mother-in-law.
He was a good cat though.
We're not talking anything about you, know.
She poined her finger and her hands.
Yeah,
on her.
and
But I've never seen her
stand
do
on your
these
feet.
actions.
Don't lean on the wall. Stand on your feet. Stand on your feet.
Okay, let's get back to it.
Oh my god. So my point is,
Don't park like an idiot.
don't be a fucking douchebag. Don't drive like a fucking douchebag. Don't get a fucking bunch of cats. And women really don't get cats because you can't don't get crazier. Men don't want it. By the way, let me ask you a question. You're a guy.
Do you think women are crazy or they're just different?
They're crazy.
Like I think women think men are crazy.
No, they don't. Listen, I want to say this. You're a dude. Okay? Now you're in a relationship different, but you were single up till then, obviously.
Correct. That's
If
how it
you
works.
met a girl that had 2 or 3 cats, would you date her?
No.
Okay,
Objectively
that's
not.
just saying. Okay.
But if I met a girl who was my age who was single who had 3 dogs, I'd be like, I don't know.
Okay, please answer the question.
Never
I'm
mind.
just asking a question.
I take that back.
If you met a chick who had one of those little dogs that carried a dog all with her, would you date her?
My girlfriend did have a little. I mean, it was her family's dog,
No.
but she had a little Chihuahua
Okay.
that they would carry out to like dinner and shit.
Okay. If you have a girl that living with her by herself, not with her family, she's living by herself, and you're dating her, and she has a little dog, she takes that dog everywhere we go. Would you ever do it?
It's
No.
red flags.
Okay.
It's red flags because then I would be like,
Okay,
I need to learn more.
Disappointed
No.
and ashamed.
I would just be like, I need to learn more about this relationship.
Did I
Like,
not
are you
raise you?
dependent on this dog?
No.
Is it like a codependency
okay,
thing?
stop. It's not a thesis.
No, but
If the chick is
she
taking
might just have like gotten this dog because it was like we had a Yorkie.
Right.
Like
Listen.
it might just be she thought it was cute.
No,
and
if it's a dog, but not where
she takes it in a purse all the time.
and if you
No,
go,
she walks the dog in the stroller. That's a hard
if
no.
you hard
of
no,
course.
if you go on Instagram and you see she has a little dog and you see she has a photo of her in front of the Eiffel Tower, do you date her?
What, a photo in front of the Eiffel Tower?
her
Just her and her dog in front of the Eiffel Tower.
in front of the Eiffel Tower, like all the fucking chicks do.
Well, I don't see that.
And then
That's
they
a
just
problem.
and if they make a
You're gonna not date
Joe.
someone because they have a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower.
and then what about the chick does
That's such a crazy-
duck lips and photos? You dating her?
Well, you mean like she has fake lips or she's like pursing her lips out?
Personal lips.
That's old. No one does that anymore.
Okay.
Only middle-aged women do that because it's like the old trend.
Oh, retards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a trigger for me. When mom's friends do that, it's a fucking trigger for me.
Yeah.
No, it's actually I'm getting worked up right now. It's a fucking trigger.
I mean,
for
these
me.
things that you're saying are like icks. Like an ick of yours is a woman and having a picture in front of the
Ick?
Eiffel Tower.
You mean a trigger?
Yeah,
That's
but
not- that's not a
the
trigger.
modern term, right? Because the modern term for it, like
No,
what
but
we
a
say,
trigger is fucking.
a trigger's where it gets you.
It gets
built
me
up.
worked up.
But an ick is where you're like might be interested in a girl and they do this thing and you're like, I'm not interested anymore. You got the ick.
Yeah, they're all fucking retards in that regard.
Like there are a lot of things that happens. Like if a girl has an old car, it's kind of an ick. Like an old shitty car that is like has like candy wrappers or McDonald's or shit. That's 100% an ick.
who does that?
People for sure.
Girls would have rappers and shit in the
Oh
car?
yeah, girls are messier than
Didn't
guys.
Bryce? Yeah,
objectively.
girls are dirtier. I agree, and they've scientifically proven that. Just so you know,
Scientifically.
they've done tests in women's public bathrooms and men public bathrooms.
No,
And the women-
yeah,
let
I
me
mean, I think
finish.
women would agree.
And the
with
public bathrooms are drastically filthier scientifically.
Really?
Yes,
I feel
they've
like
done-
men's would be
No.
dirtier because like pee drips.
No.
Women's pee can't
no,
drip.
they've done it. They've done studies on it. I'm not joking. That's the
Okay.
truth. You can look it up.
Okay, I believe you.
Bryce told me one of their friends, the girl's car was so fucking dirty.
Yeah.
No, like he's like atrocious. He just told me the girl was dirty.
Yes, I know who he's talking.
Yeah,
I know
no,
who you're
and he
talking
told
about.
me
I know
that
this girl.
Right. He told me one of his friends.
Slept with her.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yes.
So if everything's dirty. The vajayjay must be beyond filthy.
Oh yeah, because I don't even want. That's disgusting.
'cause
It
if
literally
you-
made me get a little
if you go into like a bathroom, like these restaurants, and you see these bathrooms are filthy, it grosses the fuck out because the kitchen's got to be filthy. Has to be.
Oh, in a restaurant.
Yeah, it's it's
Different.
Coffee, it's the coffee stain theory.
What's the coffee stain theory?
Means if you turn in a piece of paper with like a report or whatever it is, or it's like ripped or has a coffee stain in it, it means you.
Well, that's an attention to detail thing. That's like this person doesn't care.
How would you define? Look it up, coffee stain theory. How would you define it?
Yeah, can I just use your phone?
Sure. Why would you want to use the phone?
It's easier to use the phone than my laptop in this
Gotcha.
setting because then I have to like put my mic down to type.
Understood. You know,
Coffee
stain theory. definition. Because I know what it is. I don't know how to exactly explain it.
So you don't know what it is?
I know what it is. I don't know how to get it.
I don't know what it is, but I know what it is, but I can't tell you.
That's not what I said.
Coffee ring phenomenon. The coffee stain theory states that you can do everything right with your brain experience, but if you neglect some details, for instance, okay, hold on. But if you neglect some details, for instance, an airline leaving a coffee stain on the airline tray, it calls into question all the other details that might not be paying attention to, like maintenance, for instance.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah,
like the dirty bathroom.
Right. In a bathroom, if one little thing, I don't know, what would be a thing in a bathroom that would call into question all the other things? I don't know.
No, it's a dirty bathroom.
But
that's you mean that,
objectively, women are dirtier in general than men. That one of the reasons why I like my girlfriend is that she's way cleaner than I am.
All right, so
she's extremely clean.
Here's another thing.
I would never date a girl that's dirty. It's disgusting.
We went to a restaurant in Delray called La Colonial. It's a Vietnamese higher end type. It was a good restaurant. The waiter and waitresses, they all walked around. It was like a Japanese or Vietnamese. No, but my point, the same fucking thing. That style chef shirt.
Okay.
You know, with the little buttons and the little
thing. Like an Oriental vibe.
Right.
Sure.
They were meticulously clean, starched, pressed, immaculate.
Yeah, like that's great.
I commented on it. It was fucking perfect. Go to the Boca Resort. You go to Flamingo Restaurant. We've been a member there. We go there all the time, right?
The high-end steakhouse.
Okay.
For those who don't know.
They wear these pink blazers.
Do they have stains on them and shit?
There's stains. I said to my waiter, when I go, it's disgusting. They only give them one. I go, if you go to Houston's, listen, you go to Houston's, and if there's a stain on your shirt, they send you home if you don't replace it. They send you home.
You would think they would have rows of jackets in the back to be like, here, put this one on.
Disgusting. It grossed me out.
Yeah. Because
like,
then
I wouldn't even put that on, me personally, ever.
It's an attention to detail thing because it's like, what else are they not
What's
caring
going
about?
in the kitchen? This guy picking his nose. He's not wearing a hairnet. He's fucking not washing his hands.
Well, that's happening in every kitchen. You just have to accept that.
There's
and
a
it's just
difference, though, in what I'm saying.
Ignorance is bliss.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's a difference. One is it's like, I don't know. It's disgusting, the blazer.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
I agree. How did we get on this? We were talking about women,
cats. I don't know what
being crazy.
We always pivot.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. This is a pivot, but whatever. I've been watching the new season of Love Is Blind. You know that show?
Okay. Yes. Is it good? The new one? Because
yeah,
I see
it's just this. The idea of this show is wild, and I've watched every season. There's been 5 seasons, and I'm like,
are any still together?
I think
Have you researched it?
No, because I don't care. Like, I really don't care that much.
Okay.
It's just I still am baffled that like people would do it. You know the premise.
It is interesting. I think, do some people do it for true love, or do some people do it for notoriety?
I think every single person. Last season, it felt like there were like 2 chicks that did it just to like become influencers. But I think the majority of people, and especially this season, it seems like everyone is doing it like to find a wife or a husband. But that is the concept that I'm like, it's mind-boggling. Like all the people are sad, right? You have to be in a sad point in your life to be like, I'm going to go on a show where within a week I'm going to propose to someone.
Oh, it's 1 week on.
Yeah, you have 1 week of talking to all the people.
What's the downside? What's the downside? And why is it sad?
It's sad because all the people who end up, I mean, this is my outlook on it, is all the people who end up proposing to each other in the pods, right? Like the people who are like, I found a match. I think you have to be like forcing yourself into it. I think a lot of it.
But if you're going in with an open mind, why wouldn't you want to?
But see, I don't think they're going into it with an open mind. I think these people are going into it being like, I need to find a husband, or I need to find a wife, and so whatever person like kind of is nice enough.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to force myself because don't you've been on like when you're on a trip or on like a group thing and you're like away for a week with the group and you're like you're
exciting.
in it. Yes. And you're like, right, like March of the Living is a great example. That's what you're in it for a week and you're with these people and you're like, oh my God, I love these people. This is amazing because all you're doing is spending all day and it's
camaraderie.
Like you're building camaraderie. But then a week after you get back and you're like, okay, yeah, that.
Well, that's why I don't think it necessarily works.
But that's why I think they're like forcing themselves into these things to be like, yeah, I love you. This is my soulmate. And I think it's just like,
well, it can't be a soulmate after a week. We know
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so let's.
But they do. They propose.
Let's break it down.
Could you ever propose to someone in a week?
No. Let's break it down for a moment. First of all, I think all people don't want to be alone, and people looking to love and be loved. We talked about that in the past. So I also think that people are looking for these people might not have had great relationships and are looking for love. And there's a lonely component, whatever it might be, or feeling to be needed. But I also think there's a part of it where they might figure, because I agree that I could not fall in love with someone that I was not visually attracted to. That's a big thing for me. Okay.
So I disagree with that part of the show.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying, I'm just giving my opinion. And I think that, right, they're sort of, when you're with somebody for a week or 2 weeks, whatever, it's like vacation. There's no real depth. It might be new. What's that serotonin? What's that thing in your brain where you're like, it drives you, whatever. I think it's
serotonin is one of them.
It's fantasy land. It's not reality. It's so you can get caught up in it, but I think it's bullshit. So you think you can? Okay, that's a good point. I
definitely believe you can fall in love with someone just on who they are, not what they look like
visually.
Like
not knowing attracted to them.
Yeah, but there's many different kinds of love. You can
attraction.
You can be in love with someone and not attracted to them.
What if you love? If you love that person for that week and you see them and you're like, oh, I'm not attracted.
That happens to half of them.
Right.
Half
so
of the
therefore,
couples
you weren't that in love with them.
No, but you can be in love with the person and not want to kiss them.
I'm talking about the marriage component.
Well, yeah, but that's different. But that's why there's multiple versions of love. Right, like
I'm talking about marriage. We're talking about the marriage love,
like romantic love.
Yes, that's that's the setting.
But there's attraction love, and there's like emotional love.
Okay, but
and a marriage has both, right? A successful marriage would have, oh wow, I'm in love with like how you look, how you make me feel physically, and then there's also the
intellectual, emotional.
And some marriages probably only have one of those.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I still think it's initially. Now look, looks can fade. Emotional attraction can fade.
But also that can grow too. Like a lot of relationships, you might be like, oh yeah, I guess like this person's like attractive. But then as you get to know them, now you're like, whoa, like I find them so much more physically attractive.
I agree with that. But I'm talking about Love is Blind, the show. That's what I'm talking about. Everything you say, I completely agree. And when I met your mom, no matter how hot I thought she was, as I got to know her, I found her even more attractive. So I agree with that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, in the show Love is Blind, you're there for a week and you can connect verbally and emotionally,
but is that really
it's
love?
A turn on, right? And but you still have to find them attractive physically.
Yeah, and a lot of times they see each other and it fizzles out,
right? Because I still think that it's not like you could be like, you're my friend and you stimulate me emotionally and I like my time
I love
with
talking to you,
and it's intimate and quality and deep. I like that. But you have to have the physical, just like you can find someone physically attractive and say, I'm just going to whatever, but I don't want to be in a room with them for hours.
Yeah, but then again, so like on the one hand, I feel like these people are all sad and crazy, and
are they sad or crazy?
Not
or
they're not sad. I look at their situations as sad because I'm like,
I think the 90 Day Fiancés are more fucking pathetic.
Yeah, but we're talking about this because that's a whole other conversation. But then I also think like there is because I feel both ways about relationships. Like on the one hand, I do think like like really loving someone in a successful relationship is like you have to build that whole thing, and you can't just like decide. You can't just be like, yep, we love each other and we're doing that. But then also there is the whole other side of relationships where there are plenty of relationships. Like think of like arranged marriages as a great example, where like people just will meet and they know each other for 2 weeks.
For a month and got married, right?
And then they build the relationship after, and they've already they've committed to each other. Okay, yep, we are committed. We are decide because
I respect that too.
And you say, I hear people in their like middle age who have been married for decades say all the time, like, yeah, like love and marriage and all that stuff is like you have to decide. You have to wake up and be like, yep, I'm deciding today to be in love with this person. I'm deciding to make this work.
Okay, literal statement, but you know, I think what you're saying is you have to take the good and the bad, you have to take the ups and the downs,
and you have to commit every day.
You have to work through your marriage.
So I think some people,
but you still got to be. I'm sorry, for me, you have to be attracted to the person.
But that can grow 100%. That can grow.
I agree, but I'm saying, it initially, again, maybe it sounds ignorant, but even let's go back to what we always go back to, even the jungle with the lions. Okay, they want the biggest lion. You know, there's a visual component. It's just the way we're wired. I still think you have to physically be attracted to the person because you could love the person. If you're not physically attracted to them, I think it's a problem.
Right. Yeah. No, you definitely
You ever
have
see these men and women, and it's usually the women that let themselves go. But you see when they the wedding pictures, you see them now 20 years later, and they're like, did you swallow your husband?
Oh, God.
No, but you got it. I think you need to look good for your spouse,
Of course,
and make yourself presentable.
that is definitely a factor in a successful marriage for sure. That'll
At least my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion too, I agree. But I think there is something like most of the people that get married on the show that like end up proposing are. I think they go into. I try to think of put myself in their shoes, and I think a lot of it is they just think of
They want to be loved,
and they think right, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's a more simple form of commitment to a relationship, where like I think a lot of people, like myself and you included, are like. You have to really make sure that it's going to work. You have to figure out all these things. Are these going to line up? All that stuff. But there's a lot of factors into the relationship. I think a lot of people in the world, where like think about like people who, live in a little town in China, and their only marriage prospects are the other people that are in their town.
right? They have 300 people.
I don't think they're like putting all these things. I think they just kind of. It's like a more simple choice.
Like a business transaction.
It's just a simple choice. Or like with the arranged marriage things, it's just like, okay, yep, this is a simple choice. Someone's making the choice for me. And okay, yep, this is my marriage. And I'm just going, I'm accepting it. And I think a lot of the people that end up getting like engaged on the show go into it with that mindset where they're just like, yeah, I'm going to commit to this person. Like they just have to be good. They have to be like a good person. That's not really the only qualification. We have to get along and they have to be good. And then we're going to make the commitment and the love will come. And that's what like, arranged marriages. I watched that. There's that Indian matchmaking show on Netflix, which is like a great show, and it's so interesting. And every episode starts with, like a couple in their 50s or their 60s,
Right, and they talk about it, right?
And they're like, "Yeah, we met each other the night before our wedding." But
and the woman does 90% of talking, and the dude's just like, "Yes."
yeah,
right.
but they usually those relationships last more than
All right, so
relationships in America.
Let's talk for a couple.
But then
of
again, is it real,
Well,
or are they just forcing themselves to work?
Is it a business arrangement? I don't know. But here's the difference, though. An arranged marriage back, let's say, in the Indian culture,
Or even like Jewish culture. Most of Jewish culture is arranged marriages.
Listen, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that Jewish culture arranged marriage as opposed to, like, again, I'm just speaking from my limited knowledge, but I just always find the real religious Jews, I don't like it because the women are subservient to the men, and I don't like that.
Maybe that's why the marriages work.
No, when I look at the Indian, that generation, let's say my parents' generation, I look at the Indian arranged marriages, I see more of an equality in that. For some, I have nothing to
Indian
base
America, not India. Indian arranged marriages, the woman is just like,
All right.
can't even leave the home.
All right, so let's talk about this for a second. The arranged marriages at least might have a better fighting chance opposed to the Love is Blind, which is a week long, because the parents know their children, the parents know the other family, the families are working to try to foster it, and the kids, for all we know, could have known each other, whatever, and it's a cultural thing. They know they're going, and this is how it's going to be. So there's a little more of an open mind, and a little more research goes into the person that's being chosen for their child.
With parents, like if two sets of parents are setting up a marriage, I would put a wager on it that's probably going to be a more successful marriage than two strangers meeting.
Because you know your kids and you know what they like,
and you know what's
dislikes.
going to be good
Right.
for them.
Right.
And if 4 people are all coming together to decide that, like there's probably high success
Right.
rates.
So now add the Love is Blind for a week. I think, I don't want to say sad because it has a negative connotation to
I also do think with Love is Blind, I think that they haven't said this in the show, but I would just gather that they do this, that they do have, like, the people that they're choosing to be on the show they're finding compatible people.
No question. There's a whole psychology.
There's no way they're
department.
just right,
right, because
They're
they want
choosing
it to work. They're not going to put like
Right,
a conservative with a tattoo Harley
I
person.
bet that they have a sheet where they're like, we think that
Yes,
John is going to match
There's
with
no
Taylor.
question about it. There's no question they do that. And they put you in certain rooms. They know what they're doing.
Yes, exactly.
They know what you're doing.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, who you need to get for your Halloween costume needs, because I've been using it for
years. We've been using it for years.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to incorporate some form of my facial hair into my Halloween costume because I have it, and so I need to get it trimmed up with my Manscaped products. So Manscaped's new Handyman, which is their portable beard trimmer. Use it this morning. I didn't do a full
Oh,
shave.
you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need it though, right? It's just for beards?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for facial hair.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could use it on your body if you wanted to.
How's it different than the lawnmower?
It's like a beard trimmer. So it catches the hair in it. Like it has, it's
All right,
it's
get
just
me
a
one.
different type
Can
of
you
thing.
get me one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get you one. So I used it today because you were like, come over, do the podcast quick. And I was like, shit, my beard's a little
Actually, it
trimmed
is.
out.
It's nice.
So just
It's nice. It's nice and tight.
trimmed it up. It's
That's
great.
what he said.
So the Handyman, go check out on their website, manscaped.com. That's their latest product. It's great. Manscaped's they have the line of products, which is always great.
I love it. I'm doing it tonight. I told you, Mom, I'm doing it tonight.
And they're always innovating with new shit, always doing new stuff. So you always got to check out their product line. And you can do that at manscaped.com. And if you use the code DaddyIssues20, you get 20% off your entire order and free shipping. Other things that they have that are great if you don't know about, I use their body wash, their 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, which people don't even realize that they have.
I love the nose and hair trimmer. It's the best.
The weed whacker, that's that one. It's all great. The lawnmower is great. So I have all their shit. I use the lawnmower on my chest and my balls and my taint. I use the beard hedger to trim down this, and then if I need to shave lines and I don't want to do a full shave, that's where the Handyman comes in.
The beard hedger, I don't have a beard, but I got to tell you, it's so well made, so ergonomically correct for your hand.
Yeah.
It's a real serious machine. I mean,
and it's
phenomenal.
got way more. Any other like
It's got
beard
all the
trimmer
settings.
that I've used has like 3 cut lengths. And you have to like change out the top.
No,
this is all built in it. It's 20, I think.
It's almost like you think you went to a real barbershop.
Yeah,
like
you feel like a barber when you're doing it.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very manly.
So you can get all of their stuff. Check out all their products at manscaped.com. Once again, use the code DaddyIssues20. You'll get 20% off and free shipping. Get all of it in time before Halloween so you can get it all ready for your costume, incorporate your facial hair or your chest hair too.
And you get a
into your
great
costume.
discount, and it's a great fucking product, and we've been using it. We very rarely endorse things. We highly endorse Manscaped.
So
Okay.
I do think that is that is almost like matchmaking going into it
Well,
already.
it's manipulation to psychology.
But I think they're
of it.
choosing people that they believe are going to be compatible so that there's more success of engagement.
Right.
So it's not just starting from ground zero. There are probably
Listen.
similarities that are built into it.
No doubt. It's also 100% certain that a lot of these people are probably lonely, and they're coming into it with a commonality. For example, if you do a single dating app, a thing you've gone, whatever.
Right.
Everybody going to that function is looking for the same thing.
Right. So you're on a similar baseline.
It immediately breaks the ice.
Yeah.
So if you do a 90, the Love is Blind thing, and you're lonely, and some people might say, you know what I've been doing hasn't been working. They've got psychology and a whole team that might be able to foster it. I have nothing to lose. Maybe I'm only looking for looks, and that's shallow of me. Maybe I can broaden my horizon. There's so many factors.
And
I
everyone
wouldn't do
is-
it because it's a week long. Like you can't determine.
And
based on-
everyone is coming to the table in Love is Blind
In the same-
with the goal of my
You
goal is
hope.
to be married in a week.
You hope.
So but that's like the point of the show. So everyone's going in it with that in their mind. So that would be like dating would be so. Imagine
Love is
every
Blind
date.
is not the way you go into the room behind the wall. Is
Yeah,
it?
that's
That's
exactly
the
what it
one.
is.
And what's the one where you dated or they put you in the room? There's another one. Not Love is Blind. We used to watch. That doesn't matter. But I also think a harder thing today is all the outside influences, social media, everything. It makes it harder for couples. It makes it harder for people. Like we talked about in the last podcast, all the negative aspect of it. So in the arranged marriages back years ago, let's say would be our parents' generation, my parents' generation, there were less outside forces that were trying to work its way into the relationship to fuck it up. Where family meant more, communities were smaller and tighter. There was no social media. There was no cell phones. There was no pressure of these things. There was no, you were able to focus on simple things,
and it was all you knew.
And right, so you didn't have the outside facets like
Yeah.
what's it? The forbidden. You didn't get the forbidden fruit.
Like I could see an arranged marriage back in the day in a small village. Like
different today.
it was no big deal. But if you got arranged married today in Miami and
Never
you just met the
happened.
person, it would be like there's so many like it just
Look at how many boys and girls or men and women are out there.
right. It's just like there's so many other options that I feel like you would have to be such a like narrow-minded person to be like, yep, this is I'm going to commit to this. It'd be so hard.
And I think it'd be wrong of the parents today's day and age. Like, there's so many opportunities out there for your children. It should be their choice ultimately. But again,
Well, that's
it's
a different mindset.
Right, it's a cultural thing.
Yeah. But I don't know. I watched this show and part of me is like,
Did you watch the whole thing?
up until like they only release like 2 episodes at a time. Or 3
Should I
episodes
watch
at
it
a
or
time.
no?
Yeah. It's just interesting because it is like you're watching it and you're watching psychology play out. Like you're able to see these people make choices in their lives, and you're like, oh wow, it's just interesting. And so there's this one woman too.
And by the way, and these people, there is a little bit of, not so negative, desperateness.
That's what I'm saying. It's
hope,
sad.
Or a hope where they want it so badly.
That's why I say I don't think they're sad people. I feel sad for them because they're at a place in their life where they're like, yeah, I'm going to do something where I'm just going to meet a stranger and in a week I'm going to be married because I just need to be married.
What's the downside?
What's the downside? I wouldn't go on that show.
No, I know. But
it's embarrassing.
No.
There is downsides to
What's
that.
the downside? Embarrassment is not a downside.
It's
they get engaged and 6 months later find it's not for them, so whatever.
That's downsides. That's downsides.
I get it. But
to have that on, now the rest of your life, it's like your next husband can watch you. Or like if you went on that and you got engaged and then it fell apart, like your next wife, your real wife, would be able to watch you have this whole intimate love affair with another woman. That's weird.
These people are sad. Not sad, but I think it's lonely.
Yeah,
it's lonely.
But it's just then again, it's like what is marriage if not like deciding to commit to a person because you love them and then you commit and then things will change and your life will change and you'll go through all these things, but you just committed to being with the person. Like at the end of the day, that's really just what marriage is.
Marriage is a commitment to build a life and a future and you build your own empire with your own team.
Yeah. But
you create family, you create legacy.
But you're just choosing a person and you're hoping and trusting that they are,
you pray,
that they are committed
because
like
it takes two.
Right. And so what's the difference between 6 months and 1 week? Like
what do you mean?
Like if you and mom got engaged after what? 9 months?
8.5 months.
Yeah. So what's the difference between that and like 2 weeks?
Okay. There's a little bit of a difference. First of all, we waited a little over a year, about a year and a half before we got engaged.
Right,
so it was 2 years.
No, before you got married, you mean?
Before we got married.
Yeah.
Because, the honeymoon stage, should be good. It's easy for everybody. That's why it's good idea to have an engagement period so you can get to know them because it's all fantasy land at the beginning.
Yeah.
So the difference is, Bronny, and I'm not saying the 90-day, the love is blind can't work. The difference is, one, there was a courtship. We had part of life with work and our busy schedules, and we had a courtship and we pursued one another and we fell in love and built and got closer and talked about our dreams over time. So over a 2-year period, it's sort of a little more life sets in and settles down. But there's still no guarantee. Look at the divorce rate today's day and age.
But I think I think with that, it's like, I think the majority of divorce, not all of them, because there are definitely some where it's like, yeah, these people definitely should be divorced. But I think a lot of divorce is that the people just like how I was saying, I think a lot of marriage is like deciding to commit and being like, yes, I'm deciding that this is what I want and we're a team now and the team is forever and we're going to work and grow.
Right.
I think a lot of people are just like,
yes,
I don't want this team anymore.
You're 100% correct.
But it's like, that's not what you like. The decision is like to decide even through the times where you're like, I don't know if I want this.
You have to fight through tough times.
Yeah.
But Bronny, look at our society. Fast food, quick fix, medicine to heal everything. No one works at it. You want to get smarter, take Adderall. Everything. You don't research it. You look it up quickly on the internet. It's gotten so lazy and lackadaisical that we have now artificial intelligence doing things that we don't want to do. So why would marriage be a little bit different where people just give up? And so the scary part
is that the other partner can just decide that.
The scary part about marriage is that you not just rely on yourself, you rely on someone else.
Right. Like I could be committed every single day
and she might not
fully and then one day she could just decide not to.
So let's talk about that.
But I guess that's just part of the commitment.
Right. So number one is that's why you try when you make the choice to end up with somebody, you choose someone that's similar to you. I always talk about someone with similar values and goals because it helps, right? Someone if you
can understand them,
well, it has
or it's not going to be surprising. I guess.
Similar. Look, people could change,
but
you have to start with similar ideology. For example, if you start off saying, "I want 2 kids, and I believe you fight for your marriage, and someone says to me, I don't want any kids, and you know what? Marriage, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You have different ideology.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So
it's like we're in totally different worlds.
Correct. So why pursue it further? Because you're not going to change the way they are. Now, but things change in life. Circumstances happen that are not within our control. And you can't live your life in fear of saying, what if, I'm not saying you are, I'm saying you can't live your life in fear of saying, oh my God, it takes 2 to tango. What if she or he doesn't want that?
Right.
You just have to work at it. And where you have to try to be insightful or as a couple is recognize when you're having problems and work on them or talk about it rather than after the fact. Don't ignore things. And you have to work in a relationship and you have to work through and talk through the tough times. And because there's no relationship life. Let's talk about life. The journey of life from beginning to end, there's ups and downs. There's rocky roads. There's great memories. There's things we have control of. There's things we don't have control over. You have to persevere and push through them. So that's why when I always say to you kids, you have to find someone that has similar goals and similar ideas and values, similar upbringing as you. Because it doesn't mean it's going to 100% work. It doesn't mean it can't work if you're with someone else.
Nothing is 100%.
But it makes it simpler. Do you understand? It's like this. If we know, if let's say, for example, if we as a family, we're going out to eat, and we know if we invite Uncle Brant, he's a simple eater. We know there's certain restaurants, we're not even say we're going. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like we just know it's not going to work. All right?
Right.
So you need to
That's a funny analogy.
But I don't know why I thought of that because I try to think it was the 5 of us going out to eat, but we are all open to most things.
Yes.
So I think you have to find a partner
who's at the same starting places.
That's why a week, knowing somebody a week and proposing. Okay, if you got married in a week, it's stupid. If you propose in a week and you got waited a year, different story. But
what they do on Love Is Blind is they get engaged in a week and then they have a month before the wedding.
Because I don't agree with that. I'll tell you the reason why.
Yeah, and I also think it's just so forced. Like let them all meet and then let them have a year engagement. But that's not what the show is.
But here's my point.
That's why it's a TV show.
If the woman or the guy might tell the other one what they want to hear just to get married or get engaged. But after a year or so, of dating them, really, because you would have had a couple of bad moments. Yeah. You go in the bathroom with the door open. It's a different world now.
Yeah, and the bad moments is where you really see the person.
Because anyone can be friends with somebody in good times, right?
And you can see where the real, how the relationship really is. Because in the bad times, it's like, oh, how did we both handle this and solve it?
Right.
It's like, oh, fuck.
But you're gonna know through a length of a relationship before you get married, really what their true views are on family, children, in-laws, money, careers, not wanting to stay home and raise the kids, not wanting to stay home and raise the kids and go out to work. You're gonna know those things. But
how many of those, like when you're deciding in a relationship,
it's what's important more. No, it's what's more important to you.
Right. Like you just have to.
Someone might say to me, for example, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine 2 nights ago, and I was saying it's crucial my kids marry someone who's Jewish. And he's not Jewish. And he's like, well, my daughter is married a guy who's not married, dating a guy who's not Jewish, and who is Jewish, and I'm fine with it. I go, all right, but that's your call. That's not as important to you. Yeah. Me being a Jew, it's
right. I'm sure he has things where he's like, I feel very strongly about this.
There are parents like this. I said this to him. I go, I knew my kids drank in high school. I'm not an idiot.
Not me.
I know. Well, I knew
truthfully,
listen, I know you're a good kid, but I also believe that.
But I was a loser in high school.
I know you weren't.
No, I know. I'm joking.
I also believe that none of my kids tried pot. I truly believe that. Okay. But I said, but when my kids, I'm not going to say like, oh, I know you're going to drink, so drink. I made it like there were consequences, but I'm not an idiot. So to me, I'm not there to make it too easy. But it's an important thing to me that some things are very important to me and some things might not be as important to you. But that's your choice. So he goes, I hear you. So it's when you date somebody and you have a relationship with them, you might say, I want my wife raising my kids. That might be a deal breaker for you. Or I want more than one kid. Your partner might say, I only want one kid. That might be a deal breaker for you. Yeah. But so it's every human being is different and you have to weigh the stuff. But I will tell you this, if you're thinking to be able to live unhappy, like you're like, oh, I'm okay with it or she'll change and you're unhappy, it won't work. You have to
Right, but
you have to have certain convictions that are important to you, and those because if you break those convictions down, I'm not talking about compromise.
But you said I'm okay with it, and you're unhappy. It won't work.
Different.
No, but that's what you just said.
No,
but there are plenty of things where you could be like, "That's not my ideal, but I'm okay with it. I accept it."
Right, but because
I'm fine with that.
Right, but for example,
I feel like that's what a lot of successful relationship is.
Yeah,
It's
but I'm
like,
talking about the
like
important
that's who
things.
she is.
The important,
and
things.
so I accept it.
The important things I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, but that's why you have deal breakers.
Date.
Or not.
You have to date and see what you could tolerate.
And there are certain things where you're
accept.
just like, yeah, I know that's a deal breaker. But I think there are plenty of things in relationships where, and I'm sure it's both ways, where there's just something where you're like, oh, I never considered that in my life, but that's part of who they are. And so, okay, I'm fine with that. I can be okay with that.
Of course, that's a relationship.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
you said,
no,
I can be
meant
okay with
the
it and I'm
important-
unhappy. Unhappy is, of course, that's a game. That's a deal breaker.
What
for
I'm
sure.
saying is you can't think you're okay with just to sacrifice it at the expense of you being unhappy. That's what I meant to say.
Of
That's what I meant to
course.
say. And it doesn't work because you'll build resentment.
Yeah.
So maybe I wasn't clear on what I was saying because you can't be okay and unhappy. They're complete opposite. But if there's something that's crucial to you and you think you can push it down.
You can't push it down. Right.
And because it will build resentment and won't work.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
Of course, that's like going to kill a relationship.
Right. You can also talk about it and compromise.
And yeah, change and have the other person change.
But there's no guarantee, bro, in anything.
Yeah, but that's scary. But that's just part of it.
There is a guarantee that you will be, the more you get to know the person, the more time you spend with them, the more knowledgeable you'll be able to come see how they really are and if you're compatible. That's a given. Time helps that. So dating somebody a week and marrying them in a month, could it work? 100%. Is it high risk? It's much riskier. You can't say it's much. It's like this. I ride my motorcycle, and everyone tells you riding a motorcycle is like, oh, ride a motorcycle safer than a car. I go, it is not.
Who would ever say
People
that?
tell you because there's like less motorcycle accidents, whatever, because there's less motorcycles. But
I would bet the percentage per is
my
crazy.
point is, you're an idiot, right? Not you. You're an idiot that says that.
I know.
So if you fell in love with somebody and said, Dad, I'm getting engaged, and you only got together with a month, I would sit there and say, okay, do me a favor, at least have a year engagement.
Yeah.
A year and a half. Like, at least have that. I don't agree with it, but I respect your decision. You want to get engaged after a month. It's not the end of it if it didn't work. But give it a year before you get married. Don't get engaged in a month and then get married 2 weeks later. That's too high risk. Because I always say, if you love the person and you're engaged, what's the big wait a year? You're with them the whole life.
Right, you're still with them.
The whole life. So wait a year.
And it's like, it's not like, oh, the day you get married, it's like everything changes.
Right.
You're still with the
and
person.
a broken engagement is not a big deal. But a divorce,
it really isn't a big deal.
It's not. But a divorce is.
That's a big deal. I agree.
A divorce.
A divorce after a month isn't a big deal.
No,
that's just stupid.
A divorce without children is not a big deal.
It's not a big deal, but it still is a big deal. It still shows to your all the future people in your life. Like,
Okay.
that's red flags. If I was dating someone and they had if they were divorced, then in my mind I'm like,
But most
some
people,
things are wrong with
Ronnie,
this person.
most 60% of people divorce.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
Okay, but my point is, if the person got divorced, it doesn't mean maybe it didn't work out. Maybe it brought them to be with you. You can't shun somebody because of divorce. That's not a leper. I'm
I'm not saying shun, but it definitely I'm going to be like,
look,
I'm going to think differently about this person and
okay,
consider
you're
other
younger.
things.
Listen, when you're young, I agree. If someone's divorced,
At your age, it's different.
Right.
I
If someone's
guess.
divorced in their 20s, different story.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm talking
right.
from my point of
But
view.
I would say if you got married and you were with somebody for a year and it didn't work out and you have no kids.
But isn't that also weird? Because then it's like,
But
bro,
sometimes-
you should have known.
I know, but sometimes people change. You hear about it all the time. It's a weird thing.
In a
And
year, though,
sometimes-
that's crazy.
Sometimes people get caught up and they're afraid. Who knows? I
know, but
I
then
don't
that
know.
would make me think again, because then I'll be like, oh, maybe you're just getting caught up with me.
Could be. Who knows?
I'm not gonna. I don't want
Who-
to commit
who
to you when
knows?
you're.
I don't know.
When you lack when you clearly have commitment issues because
Yeah.
you got divorced within 1 year.
There's all those things that someone can question.
Yeah.
But at my age, a little bit different. That's, But I'm just saying, if my sons came to me and said, I'm engaged, and after like a couple of weeks, I'd be like, I would talk to them and say, all right, whatever. But give me a year and a half before you get married. Just do that.
But
for
there are
me.
definitely certain people that I even know in my life where I feel like they're getting to the point where I would be like, yeah, okay, you should just go on a show like this because you just want marriage. Like there are some people that just
Like who? Pause it.
no. I mean, I don't know anyone that would be like, yeah, I would go on that show, but I'm saying it'd be good for you because there are certain people that I do think would just want
Be loved.
marriage. It doesn't really like the person.
And it's a little scary for a girl too, though, because of the age thing. having children. It's
yeah.
worse for the girl.
Oh yeah, but that's why I'm saying like certain people on the show, they're just like kind of they view relationships as simpler, where they're just like, yeah, I'm like gonna commit to this person. They're a good person, and I like them.
To me,
and then that's the marriage.
I don't know. I got to be in love with the person.
Right,
They got to rock my world. I want to be with them. I want to look at them. I want to hang out with them. I want to grab them. I want to.
You don't think? And I agree. And I wouldn't.
Me.
I wouldn't even pursue a relationship if it wasn't like that. But I think for some people that can easily that can like they can just be like, okay, yeah, this is the person I'm going to decide, and they decided it in their head, and then now they're in love,
and I agree,
and the love grows from it.
Yeah,
Do you think that your love has like grown with mom over the decades?
So the answer,
or it's just like been like,
no. I think the answer is yes. There are. I think that there's. You can't every day have that quote, that romantic.
Of course.
We first met. We're up till 2 a.m. or but I still I like being around your mom. I still find her very attractive. I still want to. I know it sounds cringe. Grab her and squeeze her and find her cute and funny and I like my time with her. So I don't sit there and think like when I talk about it, I get emotional. I
think that stuff has grown as you guys have grown together.
Yeah, but we're not like little kids.
Because you've seen mom like be a mom, and you've seen like you guys have had new experiences.
I love what
that you couldn't have had within your first 2 years of marriage.
I love but it's a different kind of. I don't want to say different kind of love because that sounds negative, but
that's what I'm saying. When the love has evolved into new things.
I think it's different stages, but yeah, I look forward to all those experiences with your mother. I do. I look forward to your kids. We look forward. We build. And you also, when you build something like your children and grandchildren, a lifestyle and everything you've achieved, and you're placing the community and the foundation, all that adds to your legacy and your what like mom and I will sit back and reflect. Like, remember, we were your age and we had you.
Yeah.
And we look back and we're like, look what we've accomplished. Look what we've achieved.
Well, having
two
history
strangers that
with
came
someone
together didn't even know each other, and we look at each other and we're like, look what we've achieved. Like, so there's so many facets that bring the love to, and you still got to work at it. I'm not trying to be negative here, but we still have to work at it. We still have to.
Well, I think that's why people get divorced. They're just like,
and fight for our position in the relationship and respect one another and appreciate one another, and you just can't let it fall by the wayside. You can't, even in business, but you have to make time for your children, make time for your spouse, make time for yourself. You have to really want to be, and I think I don't know. I look at it like the test. Do I want to grow up with the person? And if I say I want to be with that person every day, and I still want that. That's my litmus test to want to be with your mom. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, even like when I think about friends that I've had since I was like young, and then now like when I get together with them now and seeing like how our lives have changed and all that stuff, there was like something special about that where I'm like, wow, look at like we've had all this history together. Look at where we were and where we are now.
It's amazing.
So I couldn't even imagine like having like a person who you did it with every single day. And then after like 30 years, like there's definitely something special in that being like, wow, look at all this. Like,
yeah, it's
even when I look at Bryce, it's like
a good feeling.
Dude, look how we're like adults now. We're doing this shit that's so cool.
Aren't you proud of yourself?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, because it gives you a sense of self-worth, accomplishment. It gives you identity. It gives you a purpose in life. That's why people need, that's why you need to get out there in the world. That's why I think this working from home thing doesn't work. You got to get out there. You got to interact with people. It gives you a purpose. When you leave your footprint on a daily basis, or you do something good for humanity or the society we live in, it makes you feel good. Even though people do anonymous donations, you still do. You feel good about yourself. You're giving back. There's a purpose, and we all need a purpose in life. And if its purpose is to take care of your children or your spouse, to be a great worker, to go out and help those who need help, whatever it is, but just to be selfish and self-absorbing and to not share your love. I don't know. I think it's that to me is a sad component. I think you need to, people, like I said, you want to be needed and you want to help. At least for me, like I feel good helping my family, and I feel good getting the rewards and the benefits of the love of my family and the appreciation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think you have to work it. There's no guarantee in life, but if you put the time and the effort into it, and there's no substitute for hard work in anything. People say, oh, work smarter. No. The bottom line, there is zero substitute for hard work in relationships, in business, in yourself, in your physical and health of yourself. There's zero substitute for hard work. You got to put the time in, and I'm telling you, you'll come out the other side much better off.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, Bronny, I love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Everybody take care. You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.